All right, it's been a long time. We are back here at Fake Mike Real News. Didn't want to have to ever make this video. It's an extremely personal video. I've been working on this alongside a lot of awesome people. I want to thank them for their work. But now I need you folks to help me here. I'm going to proceed to lay out all the evidence that I have here. And I believe that there may be some alleged crimes here. I'd be willing to potentially even put a wager that there may be some alleged crimes there, right? So I'm going to take you into the story. We'll jump right into this. This is who we're talking about today. This is Mike Antonucci, born in 1976 in Rhode Island. I first met Mike Antonucci when I started playing baseball in 6th grade after I switched to Little Leagues. I was playing baseball before that, switched to Little Leagues, went from the south side of Providence to the north side of the Providence. So I was playing in a new Little League, 13, 14 years old. I was introduced to Mike because Mike was the president of the Little League I was playing in. He's about 6 or 7 years older than me, which would make him about 21 at the time, which is just interesting because when I was 21, I was thinking about trying to get up with girls and drinking and smoking and chilling with my boys. I didn't want to be the president of a Little League, right? So I met him there. He asked one time, "Hey man, I'm gonna go get some supplies, some gloves, some helmets, and all this stuff. You want to come take a ride?" I asked my mom. They let me go. When I first met him, he had blonde frosted tips. Now, whatever. You could have blonde frosted tips. This is like the late 90s, mid-late 90s anyway. So this Justin Timberlake, Eminem they was all rocking that. So whatever. But he also had this hat, which was like the college frat time that said, you know, the ones that say Duke, Blue Devils, and the Devils is all big. His was South Carolina game Cox, and the Cox was mad big. And he ain't from South Carolina, don't know nobody from South Carolina, just kind of weird. So then I start working as like a 14, 15-year-old kid after school in the summers at the Boys and Girls Club, which was really just adjacent from the Little League. And oddly enough, Mike no longer runs the Little League. I've tried to find out why Mike no longer ran the Little League at that time after only 1 year. Nobody has been able to help me. So if you guys have any information, please message me. You can DM me on Instagram, fake Mike MIC Real News, or Gmail, fakemikerealnews@gmail.com. Get in contact with me because I have a lot of information here that I'm going to be sharing with you folks, and I could still use some help with some more of it too because there's a lot more here to be unearthed. That is for certain. So, I mean, at that time, Mike's my friend. You know what I'm saying? We worked together at the Boys and Girls Club. Hey, you want to come watch wrestling at my house after work? Boom. And so that turns into every Monday and Thursday, I'm watching wrestling with him. And then he would come over to my house and watch the X-Files. While he's there, working at the Boys and Girls Club, he creates something called WWE Pool. Which basically was a pool game, which he manipulated to be like a wrestling game. So it was like a one-on-one battle, and the kids would have their own entrance music and stuff like that. That actually evolved to inside the Boys and Girls Club. During these things, kids would wrestle each other on mats and stuff like that. Pretty interesting stuff for the time. So I meet Mike, we're friends, and then then I've been friends with him for years, and sometimes I sleep over his crib. And then I would notice, right, like sometimes he would fall asleep and we'd fall asleep and then he'll leave like some corn on. If you don't know what corn is, just replace the C with the P and you know what I'm talking about. He would put some corn on and just fall asleep, and he'd always be like, "Oh, I take this medication and I fall asleep. And I knock out. It's like I'm dead to the world. Nothing could ever wake me up." And I'm like, whatever. Weird. I just assumed for the longest time that, he's just maybe like secretly gay, and that's why he never is around no girls, don't have no girls, and he just like, he likes to chill with the boys. Cool, whatever. Like, I ain't gay, but I'm not mad at you. Just just tell me you're gay, bro, whatever. And then you always be like, well, I had this girl, and I'm like, all right, whatever, bro. So, like I said, I start chilling with this dude for like, and he's like one of my best friends. Because he basically was like, well, you guys can infer what you would like there. I mean, you can probably guess what he would want to do. Now, spoiler alert, I don't think he did anything with me, but who's to say he didn't spike a drink of mine one night or do something or slip some shit in there, and who knows, right? So I'm 99% positive, but at the end of the day, I don't know, right? But this is all legend, right? So who knows, right? Anything could happen at any time. So I don't think anything happened between him and me, but you never know. Now, the reason I'm here today is I have had people come forward to me and tell me straight to my face, yes, Mike did do something to me when I was underage. I've had at least 3 people who I have their information. I've spoken with them face to face that said, Mike did actually harm me when I was a child. Now, I'm not saying this is true. This is all alleged. This is what people have told me. So I'm going to tell you how we got here. So, as a lot of you guys that have been following the channel for a long time know, I spent several years on the road confronting politicians, doing audits, confronting cops, judges, all these other things, doing all these videos, interviews, everything, right? And so I'm from Rhode Island too. That's how I met him, like I said. So then there's a convenience store out here called Cumberland Farms. And I saw this woman who I know, who I was really good friends with because her sons also went to the Boys and Girls Club, and me and my brothers did, and they played in the same Little League too. So we all knew each other. We were all cool. And she was like, yo, damn, Will, how you been? Long time. Da, da, da. We started catching up. And then she tells me, yo, you heard what happened with Mike? I'm like, no, what? They were like, yeah, Mike raped this kid, Anthony Florio. And then they said, then Anthony Florio went and he raped an underage girl. I'm like, girl, what? So I go home and I do what I'm about to do right now. I'm going to Google Anthony Florio. And as you can see here, I'll click on one of them, but you can see there are several headlines. And I can take you, anybody can go look him up. He's a sex offender in Providence, Rhode Island, Anthony Florio. Just click on one of them just to show you that here. So this is just the top hit from Mass Live. Amherst man sentenced to 3 to 5 years in prison after pleading guilty to rape and abuse of a child. Now, I know this kid. It's a grown man, obviously, now. I'm not a kid either anymore. I know this gentleman. It was probably not I should probably undeserving of gentleman. Now, that having been said, he may indeed be a victim himself, but that doesn't mean you take out what happened to you and other people. So then I'm like, okay, what's going on here? So then I go back and I ask the guy that was the president after that why he got fired from the Little League. He would not respond to me. Then, as I talked to you at the Boys and Girls Club. Now, I have a list here of about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 people. Wow. 9 people that I will say here either definitely know something or potentially something allegedly, potentially may have possibly occurred with these people. I have 3 people for sure from not just this era, because there's different aspects of his life, okay? So you got the Little League, that's one aspect. Then you got the Boys and Girls Club. Then he had his own other YMCA summer camp. Then we're gonna get into something really weird after that. And then you got the XWA and his job. Weird. So we're gonna start, so that's the Little League. We got the Little League out here. So if you guys know anything from the Little League at that time, message me, get in touch with me. There was another event at one of these WWE pool things where, and he recorded these, and he would make it like a big event where, according to certain individuals, there was underage boys who lowered their pants and were filmed in the bathroom during that proceeding. Allegedly, potentially. This is what I'm, pretty interesting evidence there. So let's just say that. For obvious reasons, I'm going to be able to share some evidence and not others. All right. So there are some other people in the circle that are pretty interesting too, but we're going to kind of skip over that for now. So then I'm going to get to the next aspect. It's this thing called cams. We're going to talk about cams. So I didn't kind of finish up the part where I was saying, when I started turning 18, 19, 20, and Mike never wanted to go out to anywhere, and he just wanted to like watch wrestling and stuff like that, I started chilling with new friends. I got a girlfriend. I was like, bro, like if you ain't trying to go and like see chicks, bro, I'm 19, bro. My hormones are raging. I'm not trying to sit here and watch wrestling. It's like, that's cool sometimes, but I want to have some fun. I'm a kid. Like, let me get out and party. So I kind of stopped chilling with Mike. And then, I don't know, a couple months later, a couple years later, I'm like, oh, what's up? Da, 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 da. I was working like, I forget what I was working, but I was like, and then I was also working part-time at like Burger King. I was like 19 years old or something like that, or like 20 or something like that. I was like, yo, bro, I'm trying to get another job. You don't know no other job? He's like, yeah, yo, you know what I do sometimes is I'll get on cam and I won't show my face, but I'll just beat my shit and people pay me money. I'm like, for real? And just to be very brutally honest with you folks, I'm somebody that, like I said, I was just telling you how much I wanted to get up with the girls. And of course, I like girls and I like sex, but also I'm a very private person when it comes to sex. So even the idea of me, like, it sounds kind of good. Like, wow, you don't have to even show your face and you just do that and people give you money. And I was like, eh. But even to me, that was like, it was unappealing. It was like, I'm a very private person when it comes to sex. So that's that thing. And I was like, whatever. So then I start kind of like getting into activism a little bit more. Mike sees that and Mike's like, oh, boom, boom, boom. Yo, I got these DVDs about like truth or shit, whatever. Yo, come check it out, da, da, da. And then and then he mentions the second time again, he's like, yo, bro, I do these cam joints and da, da, da. And I was like, all right, cool. This is about 2010 here. So he's like, yo, he beats his joint on cam for extra cash. And he tells me to contact this guy called Jimmy Biggs in the UK via AOL Messenger and the email cammodjim@yahoo.com. CAMMOD@yahoo.com. To me, that's a highly suspicious email. Cammodjim. Like your email is Cam Moderator Jim. That's your life. I'm a cam moderator for porn. That's my identity. That's kind of weird. And so I talked to him on Instant Messenger, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, so what is up? Da, 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 da. Because at this point, I'm thinking, this got to be Mike. Like, this is weird. Like, some guy in the UK runs a cam mod, and like, bro, like, this is 2010, bro. Like, porn's already free online. Like, who's going to be paying money? Like, OnlyFans girls are begging people to do subscriptions right now. Why is somebody going to pay for some dude to beat his own shit? Like, that don't make no sense, right? So I'm like, all right, this is weird. So I'm like, oh yeah. So we're talking on AIM. Anybody that doesn't remember what AIM is, AIM's a direct instant messenger we used to use like Snap or whatever, you know? And so you could tell when somebody read the joints. And so I was like, oh yeah, you're on the UK. Yeah, yeah. I was like, yo, who's the prime minister? And he got it wrong. And I was like, no, that's incorrect. And he's like, oh yeah, I don't pay attention to politics like that. That's dumb. That's like coming over here and asking anybody in the country, even if they're just visiting, hey, who's the president? And they don't know it's Donald Trump. Kind of weird. So I was like, oh, okay, this is definitely Mike. Like, definitely, allegedly, potentially Mike. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's weird, right? So then we have, what's next here? Yes, this is what we have next. So then we have his job at Future Technologies, which I believe is, correct me if I'm wrong, chat, they were like allowed to sell Cox Communications. If you're not from this area, Cox Communications is cable and internet. And apparently Mike loved Cox. He worked there for a long time. And so bro, I'm gonna play a little something here for you too. This is gonna get audio visual for you in a second. We're gonna bring up our first piece of evidence. So, okay, let's pull things back together with the Boys and Girls Club and wrestling at the same time to catch us all up to time. So at that time, he's still working at the Boys and Girls Club. The WWE pool thing, they got kids dropping their pants allegedly in the Boys and Girls Club. And then Mike loves wrestling. And so the next thing he wants to do is he puts on a show at the Rhode Island School of the Deaf in 2001. I know because I was a part of it. I came out, that's right, Will was a professional wrestler, bro. And I won too. I had my own freaking maneuver, bro. I made it up, bro. It was fire. Well, the other part's obviously not fire. My part was awesome. But so yeah, he created this wrestling thing. And at this time, this guy's like my best friend. And I actually helped him create this wrestling federation known as the XWA. Now, there are several XWA wrestling federations now. So first of all, don't see this and don't go bothering or harassing or doing anything illegal or nefarious. That's not what we want from this, right? But just so you know, if you're going to look up the XWA, there are several. And I'll give you guys the links and everything so you can see here to see, some of the stuff. But keep in mind, there's only one XWA that we're talking about, yet there are multiple online. So don't go bothering and harassing even the correct one, let alone some other guys who are just regular dudes who purely love wrestling and they're doing their own thing for fun. So the WWE pool thing at the Boys and Girls Club kind of inspires Mike to want to do a wrestling federation. I'm his friend at the time, maybe his best friend at the time. And so I come up with the name XWA. I came up with half the characters, their story arcs. I came up with the entrance music and all this other stuff. So he gets this show. He gets Jerry the King Lawler, and he gets the Amazing Red. He gets Mikey Whipwreck. If you know wrestling, these are some pretty awesome people, and they're like the Powerhouse Twins or something like that. And then the rest of the card was filled up by people that worked at the Boys and Girls Club, including me. And not to brag, but I got a bigger pop than Jerry the King Lawler because these 7-year-olds didn't know who Jerry the King Lawler was. But they knew who I was because they see me every day, so it's not really a brag, but a humble brag. So he puts on the show, cool, whatever. So that's also at the same time where he's working for Future Technologies, which is a contractor for Cox Communications, which sells cable and internet. Now, he was also working there with his brother, George. Now, he was hiring a ton of people to work there. The people he was hiring were all young men. All young men. And where the cams thing comes in is because other people working with him there were asked to go on cams and hang out after work, allegedly. And do stuff on cams after work, allegedly. to make a little extra money, allegedly. So, let's just pull this up here. So, it appears, I'm going to let you folks decide yourself, and you're going to hear the audio. And here's what I'm going to play for you right now. I'm going to play the audio of a conversation. Now, I'm not going to tell you this individual's name, but what I will tell you is that this is a conversation between somebody that worked at the same place as Mike, calling their manager and saying, hey, can you tell me why Mike got fired? And so let's take a listen, okay?
Tomorrow, so I can let him know.
Well, it all depends. If your number gets deleted, so if you go log in tomorrow and it doesn't recognize it, then the number gets deleted. So Jerry has to put a new number, which...
I'm actually going to fast forward a bit because this is... has.
Yeah, I know this is like a random question. I just wanted to ask you. Do you remember how did Mike got fired? Mike Antonucci?
How he got fired from where?
Like from the company when he worked for Future Tech.
I'm not sure exactly what the file says, but...
I'm not sure exactly what the file says, but... doing something he wasn't supposed to be doing.
There wasn't what? Things that... I mean, no, I know because there's a couple of people that were tied to his, like, that know him and were tied to him that were convicted of, like, or being convicted of, like, child stuff, like, that stuff that, you know, that I think personally that he was fired for, but I don't remember, like, exactly what it was on file with the, you know, with the child porn and stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't...
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly what it was, but it was something, you know, to that effect that...
Yeah, I'm not sure what it was.
Something
to that effect.
He should have been doing things during business hours.
Shouldn't have been doing those things on business hours.
So he was doing, like doing personal things during business hours that he should have been doing.
So it was like a vague thing that was like stated on the file or something?
It might have been. I don't even know.
So why is this even?
Was it child porn though? Like, it was just like it wasn't direct or anything. Like, I mean, I just was like wondering.
No, I don't even know. Tell you the truth.
So he doesn't know, but he definitely was doing something. First he says, yeah, it was something like that. He first asked him, hey, was it CP? He was like, yeah, it was something like that. Well, he wasn't really doing what he's supposed to be doing and doing something. So I don't know what to make of that. You make what you will of that. He definitely was doing something on computer that he shouldn't have been doing during work hours. And he got fired. So yeah, and I've also heard from somebody else that worked there that allegedly he had some CP on that laptop. Can't prove that. We'll see. All right, now let's go into the XWA. This is where some of you wrestling guys are probably like, all right, get to the point here. But yeah, we're getting to the wrestling right now. And I'm gonna go through a few of my, I got a few screenshots and a few other things I want to show you too, as well. So, XWA. Jeez. Yeah, I'm going to just start reading this stuff and then I'll go through the screenshots and we'll wrap things up. I want to keep this short and sweet as possible. All right. So a couple points about the XWA. There are allegedly hidden cameras in the locker room. Now, he used to have the XWA facility, a gym, like in like a warehouse out in West Warwick, Rhode Island. And that was his like training center. They would have birthday parties for kids there and they would train wrestlers. So you could come, hey, maybe you're a 15-year-old kid that loves wrestling and hey, maybe you're willing to do whatever it takes to make the big time. And guess what? Mike's got big wrestlers there. So he had these little shows and according to multiple people, he had cameras allegedly in the locker room. According to other people, he was filming Korn in the locker room in 2018 while getting clients from Grindr. He also, according to multiple sources, allegedly did this thing called customs. Now, I didn't know what customs was when I got into this, but it's apparently when people pay for and request corn, which is 2 wrestlers, 3 wrestlers, 7 wrestlers. Basically, they tell you what to do, and those guys are going to go do it. And apparently that was not only happening in the XWA Event Center, but was also happening, allegedly, one time at the Crown Plaza Hotel here in Warwick, Rhode Island. Now, let's see where I should go first. So if you want to find these guys on Facebook to find the correct one, it's facebook.com/the official XWA. They have about 48,000 subscribers. Their website is theofficialxwa.com. And they have a Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups, or just look up XWA fan base. It's got about 1,000 members there. So the XWA Kingdom, which they did the training, used to be no longer run by this dude. I don't think that business is still there in West Warwick. Let's see. He also had this thing called the XWAnetwork.com, where he would, it was subscription. I don't think that site is still up anymore. Subscription, you could buy wrestling matches, and he had other wrestling stuff over there. They go to Twitter, they go to YouTube. I'm going to get into some of the articles about his stuff now, and I'm going to show you some screenshots of this here too. When you would search Mike Antonucci XWA, you would get XXX search results via Google, which I thought was pretty weird, and I'm going to get a little more into that. Then, at all this, so this lady's like, hey, Will, did you hear about Mike? He raped Ant, and Ant raped a girl. So I'm like, huh? So then I go back, and then I start reaching out to people from the Boys and Girls Club. I start reaching out to people from the Little League. Then at this very same time, this is about 6 years ago, when the Me Too movement was coming out, wrestling had its own version, and it was called #SpeakingOut. And surprisingly, one of my subscribers at the time watches wrestling and follows wrestling and was like, hey, bro, did you see this? And I'm going to show you some screenshots. But during the Speaking Out movement, I'm going to talk about a couple of the highlights here. One tweet claimed there were cameras in the locker room, that Mike hates women, and that he was actively a pedo. That was one tweet, and I'll show you. Then there was another thing in the Speaking Out thing where there were 3 wrestlers, and they were filming a enhancement scene at a spa. One of them was in his underwear, and he thought it was pretty weird and creepy, and he ended up speaking out about that. Then somebody else claimed that they were working for the company, and they went to go talk to Mike before the show, and he was getting some dome from somebody else, and then he ends up talking about that, right? Then at the same time, there's a woman, alleged woman called Jenna Bauer-Setti. So I'm looking into this, and somebody's like, hey, take a look into Jenna Bauer-Setti. So I do a Google search, a Facebook search, the typical things that you do. And there's this thing called there's this Facebook page, Jenna Bauer-Setti. It's a girl, she got like one picture, says she works at Massage MV thing, and she lives in Brookline, but she lives in New Hampshire, or works in vice versa, whatever. Apparently what happened is apparently what happened was whoever Jenna Bauer-Setti was catfishing people into getting people to send them their nudes. And a lot of people seem to think that was Mike. Mike said, oh no, that wasn't me. But then Mike later admitted that it may have been him. And now this is all what I've heard. This is all allegedly, right? So pretty interesting. This Jenna Bauer-Setti person if it's not Mike, it's a person that does not exist. It's a fake catfish things. And then also when you Google XWA, I'll show you, there's some weird stuff, Jenna Bauersetti, okay? So here are some questions, right? He had this camcorder. He was videoing a bunch of stuff. Where did that go? Why did he stop working at the Boys and Girls Club? Why did he only run the Little League for a year? Who went down to Disney with him? He was always going down to Disney. That's kind of weird. At what age? Who was going down there? Did he have a timeshare? Did the FBI come to his crib and look at his computers? I don't know. Who did he take to WrestleMania? Got a few more things before I go through some of these screenshots, saving the best for the last, okay. Then, let me pull this guy up too. We're gonna pull this guy up. I'm gonna pull him up before we finish. Some of these other names, I got a lot of names here, bro. And half of these people, I don't know if they're potentially victims or people to look into, but a lot of people didn't really want to talk. Some people did. All right, let's get to the screenshots, and then actually we're going to talk about a couple other things here. Some of the stuff that I have. Let's start here. All right. All right, so this is one of the things I was talking about here. I typed into Google Jenna Bauersetti, and this website kept coming up called TR Show or TR Cam. I don't know if this is in any way related. This one is trshow.info, but TR Cam thing kept coming up. So I took a screenshot of the search results. It says, trshow.info, XWA pays tribute to Reed Flair with Ric Flair. Jenna Bauersetti, it's a different language. And that's that hit right there. Interesting. Now, this is the website tr-cam.com. This weird site, which is got weird videos on it. Apparently it's in a different language, but they have an official XWA account here, which I found interesting. Maybe you guys can help me out with that. And then this, okay, I did get a screenshot. This is a screenshot of XWA Network. I don't know if that's still in existence or not, but they were hosting files over there. And it's just weird because that would be a cool place to maybe look if you were interested in investigating this place. Because it's like, this guy always had cameras from back in the day. He uploads these wrestling shows, and he's got all this space to store these files. And it's weird because he may be the guy that also likes doing things on cam, because he told me, hey, I like doing things on cam and you get money for that. I wonder if there's any other weird shit on that little thing, or maybe it's on a TR cam. I don't know. Maybe if I was a diligent and caring investigator, I would look into that. Or you guys can just donate a shit ton of money so I can quit my job and look into this and other things full time. But until that happens, why don't y'all get off your ass and do something? Now I'm going to introduce you to somebody that is bad to the bones. Joey Bones, a.k.a. Joey Coro. This is an article from a local news website here called the Valley Breeze. And this is bad to the bones. Okay, I'm actually going to pull up that full thing. But basically in this article, it talks about how an underage Joey Coro met Mike in Little League. Mike is the umpire there. So he's working for a different Little League. Being an umpire, he meets this guy, and then all of a sudden, Joey Bones is one of Mike's close confidants. And it's weird because he met him when he was underage. He was the umpire, kind of like me, at the Little League. And then there's another one from the Smithfield Times, which is an even smaller newspaper out here. This one's referring to Mike Antonucci. Local man continues popular RI sporting pastime. And I believe in that article, it doesn't even, I'm going to go through the file too, but I believe it doesn't even, I'm going to go through these articles too. I'm going through the screenshots, but, all right, let's see. So, this kid, and I'll get to the screenshot here. There's a kid, he's a grown man, potentially met Mike when he was underage, but I don't know that. That's an allegedly potential. I have no idea. But he's still a young man probably to this day. And Mike makes this post. I'm going to cover up this kid's name. He doesn't necessarily need to be into this, but this is Mike made a post. And what this post is, you can see the date and the time here. This is during the Me Too movement and the speaking out movement. What this post is, he's sharing, under here is sharing, you guys just saw it anyways, whatever, who cares? This is all public shit anyways. This is not something I need to really cover up. But he shares this kid's thing, and this kid, I'll show you that actual screenshot, says, oh, do-do-do-do-do-do. This is in response to the speaking out allegations. This is what Mike says. I was keeping quiet on this out of respect for Jalen so that he could address it first when he came back from vacation. When I first read that a few days ago, this is talking about how they were doing this weird stuff in the spa. So this is him responding to the allegations of him doing something in the spa. So I was keeping quiet out of respect for Jalen, and I come back and address it first. Maybe it's not, because this might be something else. Jalen first read it a few days ago. Honestly, I shrugged it out. Never again. Once discussing. I'm gonna have to pull up this full screenshot. Sorry about that. We're gonna get back to that. So these are some of the other weird things that when you type in Mike Antonucci XWA would come up. This is one other result. Death ray vision from tsparfum.ru, which is, I'm assuming, is Russia. I'm going to get back to that Jalen stuff. It's just easier to do that. So look, again, XWA, Mike Antonucci, you get escort. You get crazy other things that I'm not going to say right there. And then I have conversations with the group chat about some former wrestlers too who have given me some information. I'm not going to out them yet. Maybe I will. Now I'm going to send you some screenshots from Mike's. Here's another screenshot from Mike's Facebook. September 17th, 2019. I don't know where he's getting this money from. I don't even know what this is asking for. Even more opportunities in different locations opening up to make some quick cash. If anyone reading this is currently not working and wants to make some good money for a few weeks, hit me up ASAP. Doesn't matter where you're from in the US, travel and hotel will be taken care of! Exclamation point. What the hell is that about? All right, here's the Jalen thing. Okay. So honestly, I'm not sure, looking at it, if he's talking about either the getting oral, one wrestler walking in and Mike getting an oral. I think it is. Yeah, that's what it is. Yep, that's what it is. I wasn't sure if that was this, because of the way Mike talked about it. Yep, this is what it is. This is about him. This is Mike and this other kid, Jalen, who I'm not sure. Oh, Jalen must be the kid implicated. Yep, that's what it is. So Jalen is probably the kid that is accused of slurping, and Mike is the one of getting. And one wrestler walks in, said he saw this, and then he was demoted, pushed down the card, wasn't given any credit, whatever. So this is what Jalen says. You want to talk about speaking out? Fine, let me speak out. There is a effing clown out here spreading lies about me in my home. Didn't mention your home. Trying to get clout and using sensitive movement to try to get his 2 minutes. I've never seen, that's a weird way to get clout, honestly. Not saying that people wouldn't do it, because people are crazy and do crazy things. Trying to get his 2 minutes. It's funny because, I'm going to pause that. We'll maybe get back to that. And he's basically saying, oh, you're a liar, you're a loser. And then Mike says, I was keeping quiet out of respect for Jalen, who was accused of giving him dome, so that he could address it first when he came back from vacation. If y'all two grown men doing something, why do you have to address that? When I first read that a few days ago, in all honesty, I shrugged it off as stemming from a certain dojo further south. Dojo? And later found out otherwise, shaking my head. The dude's name is Cam, and to make no mistake, he was never on, quote-unquote, the roster. Weird choice of words. Participated in what we call an enhancement segment. Again, weird choice of words. Another one who apparently felt wrestling owed him something, discussing, especially from an adult that was dating a 14-year-old, but we can't talk about that. So we'll get into that aspect later, but that's Mike's response to this. So about 6 years ago, Mike kind of found out because I was talking to everybody. I was looking into him. And I pressed him on these. And I have recordings for about an hour of his responses. One of the things he said is, this guy's just trying to get his 2 minutes of fame. Trying to get his clout. Which I thought was pretty interesting. Like almost like if Mike potentially wrote that response. These are some screenshots. Yep. All right. So I'm going to just skip to the meat and potatoes here. Appreciate your patience, guys. Like, share, and subscribe, guys. Get this video out. I just joined a bunch of wrestling Facebook groups, and I'm gonna spam this video in there because we can't let this guy do this. Now, here's one of the things before I get to kind of some of the last few parts here. I have 3 people who I 1,000% believe who have told me to my face and have also given me overwhelming circumstantial evidence and other evidence, and they told me that Mike raped them when they were children. Now, here's a problem. What any logical person would do, and I already can tell there's going to be haters in the comments saying, oh, why are you doing a video about this? Oh, you should give it to the police. Well, guess what? 3 of these people, and I know there's more, allegedly, 3 of these people, I know there's more because they've told me other things, but they don't want to tell me other things. But 3 of these people told me that. So, what's the best case scenario? The best case scenario is, well, we get somebody that happened to them and we take them to court, we put them behind bars. Fortunately, these people are grown men now. They've got lives, they've got families, they got career paths, they got careers themselves. And at this time, they're not willing to come forward, and I respect that. However, anybody that watches true crime or is familiar with criminology understands that if you're a serial griller, you may take some time off, but the urge to grill never stops. If you like to grape, it doesn't stop. Like me, I like Asian and Latina goth babies. I'm not all of a sudden going to wake up tomorrow and be like, damn, get your goth girls away from me. No, put your clothes. It's not going to happen. So I'd be willing to bet, if indeed any of this is true, that if that is indeed true, that it would still be continuing to this very day. Why would it not? Maybe put us off for a little bit. So thing is, we don't got a body in this case. At least not now. This is where you come in. I'm sure you guys may know some people or may even have potentially been allegedly affected yourselves. And I'm sitting on a whole bunch of more information here. We're not even scanning 1/10 of this. If I can get somebody to come forward that wants to say something, that wants to work with me, that wants to share information, cool. Come, I got all this information. We'll get all the information together. We'll bring it to lawyers. We'll bring it to, even though it's good to take that sip there. So the next best thing, until we get somebody, is to take this video, share it everywhere. Share it everywhere and reach back out to the people, right? Send this to everybody. That's the next best thing that we can do. And after this video, make sure your subscriptions are on and hit like and hit the bell, because probably within an hour max of this video, 2 hours max of this video, you guys seeing it, I will be outside of the Westwark Civic Center. Why will I be there? Well, the first time in several years, the XWA is doing a show. And I will be there along with some other awesome people who I can't thank enough, because I couldn't do this video 2 weeks ago, because if I did, he's not going to show up and do the show there. So I really want to thank the people that have agreed to meet me there based on their trust for me and the work that I've done in the past. And if you don't know what I've done in the past, go check me out. This is something I've been doing for a long time. So I'm very thankful to those people, and I'm also very thankful to the people that have spoken to me and taken the time behind the scenes, because this is a truly important situation. And I don't care who it is, if there's allegations of this type, they need to be taken extremely seriously and every thread followed until we come to a logical conclusion. I don't want to go out there and call somebody something and this and that, but if there's this many questions coming up, we owe it to ourselves as a community to look into it to protect our loved ones. Because if any of this is indeed true, maybe he shouldn't be doing wrestling shows for kids. Maybe people in his neighborhood should know that, hey, maybe don't let your children around him. If this is indeed true, right? So, this is one of the other speaking outs here. I'll give you the screenshot of it, and then I'll read it to you. Takes a lot for me to say this, and I've debated on saying it for the past 2 days. It's not as bad as a lot of the other stories going around the community, but it still shows how this guy acts, talking about Mike. It shows how promoters will take advantage of their talent because they know they want a booking. This man did things that aren't right, and for someone who is in their position. I sat in a massage room for a promo. The promoter said I needed to be in my underwear for this. I refused it, and I stated I wouldn't be booked. So I went along with it. There's one individual who will not be named saw all this happen. I was 19 and just wanted to wrestle. Damn, that's sad. The owner of the facility walked in and saw me being recorded by the promoter in my underwear, and he asked what was going on. That's how bad the situation looked. He later asked not to mention that his facility was used for that promo. The promo that aired that Thursday never went below my chest, so there was no need for me to be in my underwear. And this is from the hashtag speaking out right there. You can see the original tweet. And then somebody that was there says, earlier today I received a phone call asking to agree with something that wasn't entirely true. After seeing what I initially agreed to be published, I realized a mistake and felt terrible about it. So somebody agreed and said, yeah, I agree, this is weird. I think it's kind of creepy. And then he changed his mind. And then I want to show you a few more things too. I have from another person. Now, I'm not going to say the name, but I'm looking at DMs right now from X. Heard stories about hidden cameras, another one, in the locker room. Found weird corn on his browser history, and it looked like one of the trainees was seen giving him oral sex. People would joke and make references to this guy. Now, I was actually just doing a little more research before this thing. Remember how I told you earlier that at the Boys and Girls Club, there was a video of underage children in the locker of the bathroom of the Boys and Girls Club that they like mooned a camera, pulled down their pants or something like that. It's a very Mike thing to potentially do. Allegedly. I went back and looked at the XWA YouTube, and they had a video called the Mannequin Challenge. And I remember everyone freezes there and they take a video going through stupid, corny, dumb. One room, there you open the door and some guy's got his ass out. blurred off, and they play weird thing. And then another thing they're going through, and it's all like regular stuff. And then one guy's like, they're frozen. One guy's like this, another guy's bent down here like this, and they play like some Kenny G saxophone stuff. Family friendly stuff. I'm gonna show you some of the stuff he posts on Facebook, too, from his own Facebook. And you tell me if you think this person should be having little kids' birthday parties and training little kids and having a wrestling show for little kids, hanging out with little kids. Thing is, I got so much, and I'm not really too familiar with the context of the wrestling world, so I'm going to need y'all help. So reach out to me. FakeMikeRealNews@gmail.com, Instagram, FakeMikeRealNews. Message me if you have any information. If you don't, share the video, and we'll reach somebody that does. This guy also talks about the customs, which, and then he had other people that were really good friends with him that all kind of turned on him. And then there was another guy calling him a wizard, a harmer of kids, right? Where am I? Yeah, okay. Yep, people like Antonio Atama, one of his good friends at the time, turned around to not like him. One of his guys, Bobby Rossi, was the voice of the XWA. And then turned on Mike and deleted his social media. Also another few other people too. There were several wrestlers that were catfished. And it looks like, I was like, yo, bro, did anybody say anything to the police or anything about this? It looks like everybody's afraid. It looks like nobody wants to talk because wrestling's hot right now and they want to move up in the wrestling world and they're afraid Mike could do it. So that's pretty crazy. All right, almost done going through these here, but there's a few more important things I want to show you guys, and then we'll wrap this up. All right, let's see. And there's some other people that, during the course of this investigation, have raised some red flags about themselves too. I'm not going to say their names just yet, and we're going to continue with this investigation. But there's some people, like, all right, pull a name out of a hat. What's a weird name? Coke. We're going to use Coke. I'm drinking Coke. I know it's bad. I shouldn't be drinking Coke, but I'm drinking Coke. I need a little caffeine, all right? I'm not running a free commercial for Coke. Penn. Me and Penn been best friends for years, right? Me and Penn, we're close like this, right? And then someone calls me up and they're like, yo, bro. I'm like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, yo, bro, so I was doing some research and it seems like 9 people are coming at me telling me there's some really weird stuff about Penn. And I'd be like, oh, okay. I should be surprised. Like if people are coming all from over like different aspects of life telling me, yo, your homie is wildin', bro. Your homie might be doing some weird shit. And I don't act surprised at all. And I hang out with him all the time. And I see him all the time. And so, what the heck? And then there's somebody that said, if I even seen anybody doing anything, I would like them in fire and I didn't do anything. Why don't you come into my face right now and say that? These people are weird, bro. There's something really weird going on here. It's not just Mike. So keep that in mind. And if you guys know anything, I'm going to need your help. I'm going to need us to work together on this one because, wow. Oh, man. I'm eventually you guys will see these screenshots, some of these people I'm protecting because there's no need to involve them right now in this first video. I'm gonna show you a couple things from Mike's Facebook too before we get this. Yeah, and I got some hyperlinks too. I gotta get to hyperlinks in Mike's Facebook. And I got more audio and stuff, but we're gonna keep it quick today, relatively. I don't even know how long we've been going for, but I'm just trying to get out the bare minimum here. I'm looking through the screenshots. It's like, hello. And then one person's like, hello, random person bothering me. That was kind of funny. I'm not going to lie. This person also said he heard stories about Mike and Anthony, which started this all. Message Jenna Bauer said she didn't mention me back. There's a shocker. And there's some really interesting people on the periphery who we're going to look into. All right, let me see what else I got here, and we'll get into some hyperlinks and Mike Antonucci's Facebook real quick. I just saved a few more photos. Let's see. Hold on. Photos. All right. I'm just gonna, let's see, how did I saved it to the phone? What did I save it as? Downloads? Oh, I got them right here. All right, so I'm just gonna block this top part. That's what I'll do and show them. So that way they can't see nothing. Yep, nothing. All right, I'm not gonna risk it. I'm just gonna find them downloaded. Oh, I know what I'll do. Okay, cool. Perfect. Here's a screenshot from May 12th, 2012. So I take a walk around the block thinking about how life has been screwing me a lot this year. I look up and see this. Man, I'm getting it from all angles. Runs a, used to umpire, hanging out with kids that are underage who's an umpire. 20 years old, he's not going out to the clubs. He's running a baseball little league. He's posting this up, running a wrestling promotion for kids. And keep in mind, this is like all the kids and the people he knows see his Facebook. There's another one. I wonder how many fingers. This with the caption, wait till you see the pineapple. Little kids, come to my wrestling show. Play baseball with me. Hey, I'm your umpire. This is a sign that says, keep back from the platform edge or you may get sucked off. This is an awesome train station. Now, some of these, whatever, it's like, cringe, not that funny, sexual thing, whatever. But it's like, that's one thing if it's just bros. But if you're like an umpire for a little league, you're putting this type of stuff up. Definitely did a double take. I did too. Batman bent over with some weird thing, squirter coming out of his thing with the caption. So let me get this right. You have to pull a plug out of Batman's butt, fill it with water, and give him a reach around to make the water shoot out of his mouth? Thinks that's bad. Wait till you see Robin. Now, this is a picture. This was one of Mike's profile pictures. Look at me. I love the children. I do it all for the kids. I'm not bald. I don't have weird teeth. All right, go a couple of hyperlinks and we're going to shut this thing down. Let's go to the gosh darn hyperlinks. You guys ready? Like, share, and subscribe, guys. Been working on this for a long time. Like, share, and subscribe, not just for me, for the innocent children out there that may mistakenly go to this place, right? Even if it's nothing here, even if this is all alleged, fine. Better be safe than sorry. That's what I think. That's what I think. All right, let's go through the hyperlinks. Only a few hyperlinks. And we'll wrap this up. This isn't as long as I thought. That's what she said. All right, let's official XWA. So this is the former XWA Kingdom Training School. It is permanently closed. That's where they used to have the kids' birthday parties and train men and kids there. God knows what else. Let's check in on the official XWA Twitter while we're here. See if there's any updates. Probably hasn't been for a long time. No. You got the YouTube. All right, this is an article from WPRI, which is the local Rhode Island CBS affiliate. Read it for you. It's a short one. Found it interesting that I believe this is the one that, looks like I got a little video if you want to look it up. But I believe this one doesn't even interview Mike, which I think is interesting. The headline, West Warwick Wrestling School teaches fans all the right moves. West Warwick, Rhode Island. Professional wrestling is a multi-million-dollar industry. But how do you get to the top? There's a school in West Warwick teaching all the right moves. Students eager to get in the ring. The Extreme Wrestling Association, more commonly known as XWA, teaches fans to put wrestling moves to use. Quote, there's a whole other thing like there was in the 90s, the Attitude Era, Stone Cold and The Rock, and it feels like there's a new boom coming for wrestling, end quote. Wrestler Stephen Baker said. This place has a lot of buzz around it. The venue attracts fans from across New England and even beyond. It's grown in popularity to the point where the venue added a weekly Thursday night show to keep up with the demand. Quote, I don't see it slowing down. Like I said, going on our 19th annual resolution, going 20 years strong, it's just about to get better. It's just going to get better and better, announcer Bob Whitney said. The walls of XWA are lined with photos of some of the greats, including Matt Taven, Vinny Marsala, and TK O'Ryan. This is the Kingdom Training Center, so to speak, on certain days, Baker said. For some of those chose to step in the ring, XWA offers more than just a chance to explore the world of wrestling. Whether it's the fans, whether it's the wrestlers, just building that brotherhood and the whole thing we have in common, wrestler Kellen Walski said. No matter what walk of life you come from, we all have wrestling in common. It's a bond that not many outside the community understand. And the thing is, I like wrestling. I like wrestling fans. Wrestling fans are some of the coolest, most self-depreciating, funniest, awesome people out there, bro. Like, wrestling fans are cool. And that's why we can't stand up for this. XWA hosts the Thursday Night Thursday, blah, 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 blah. But you notice this whole article kind of glazing him here, and he's not even, interviewed in the article. Then there's this local show too called The Road Show that comes on Saturdays, and he had two of his wrestlers go on there one time. All right, this is the article I was telling you about with Joey Bones. Bad to the bones. Here's the article here that I screenshot. Here's the hyperlink. North Providence's Joey Coro, aka Joey Bones, is introduced to the crowd before stepping in the ring for an Extreme Wrestling Alliance fight in West Warwick. A 2014 graduate of North Providence High, Coro has become a fan favorite in his 15-month career in the XWA. North Providence. Like most Little League baseball players who dreamed of one day becoming a professional athlete, Joey Coro harbored his own Major League aspirations during his days in the North Providence East Little League. 2 Little Leagues. And a decade after playing his last Little League game, Coro has seen his dream come true. But just not the way they thought it would turn back way back when. Coro is a professional wrestler in the Extreme Wrestling Alliance. And in just 15 months, a 22-year-old prospect known as Joey Bones has grown into a fan favorite. Since winning his pro debut in a rookie-filled battle royal near the end of 2016, Coro has stepped in the ring probably close to 80-90 matches, blah, 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 blah. Coro graduated from North Providence High School in 2014. Started in the Cougars baseball and basketball teams, lifelong fan of wrestling. And he got an up-close view of the XWA when he played in the North Providence East Little League and saw one of the umpires, Mike Antonucci in action, but not just the head of the XWA, but one of the wrestlers. Interesting, because it doesn't explain how they met each other, or it doesn't elaborate. He got him up close and personal when he saw one of the umpires, not Mike Antonucci, so it means he must have been talking to him. Hey, come see me. I'm a professional wrestler. Did you know that, kid? You should come hang out with me. Show you the ropes. That's weird, bro. He said, we're opening a training school for wrestling, and I know you're interested in wrestling as a sport, recalled Coral. Would you like to get involved in it? And I said, yeah, why not? Let's give it a try and see where it goes. I've always been a big fan of wrestling, so we're here now. This is kind of messed up. Later in the article, one look at Coro and he's far from a muscular specimen. Yo, roasted this bro. Why would you have to say that, bro? Hey, kid. This is my second Little League I'm working at. And I know umpires are supposed to be impartial. And I know I probably shouldn't be telling you this, kid, but we should hang out afterwards. You should come see me wrestle. Get all sweaty and wrestle. And guess what? I can teach you to do the same. So hopefully I've raised a few alarm bells. Let's go through any more. I'm sorry I'm laughing. Oh my God, bro. Like, nobody sees this, bro? I'm not saying there's anything here. But I've had 3 people tell me, yo, this dude raped me when I was a kid. I mean, even if he didn't do that, like, can you not see this weird stuff, bro? Hey, kid, it's your umpire. Poor kid. I'm not also sure how this guy is connected, but this guy's, well, I'm actually not going to bring that up yet. We're going to wait on that one. We're going to wait. Well, no. We're going to do it with the caveat because I don't remember the specific details here. This is from South Coast Today, an article. Headline is New Bedford Man arraigned on CP charge. The guy's name is Isaiah Carminati, 18 years old. I'm pretty sure he worked for XWA, and if he was 18 years old, that means he was just recently maybe younger than that. That's how kind of aging works. So, which means he was probably a minor before that, and just another thread to look into. All right. Save that for another day. All right. I'm going to go through, make sure I didn't miss anything here. Yeah, one time when we reconnect, oh yeah, a couple other things from my personal stuff too. When we reconnected years later, he was like, hey, dude, I love you, da-da-da. Yo, because he always says he's got a condition with his heart. And, that's why he could never drink. He took this medication. If he took one drink, it'd be like 1,000 drinks. He's always like, oh. And if you watch, anybody watches XW wrestling, oh, it's his heart. He's out there with it, wrestling with his heart. It's so tough, and he's such a hero. Oh my God, what a hero! And so he was like, yo, do you think you could drive me? I'm gonna have to have heart surgery. And at that time, I just thought he was a kind of a socially awkward gay dude. I was like, of course, bro. Hell yeah. I'll hook you up. Let's go. This will be especially interesting to anybody that's from Rhode Island. So I go drive him to Warwick Mall. Yep. He had heart surgery in the parking lot of Warwick Mall. That's what he told me. I was in the car. I was like, yo, do you want me to go in with you? You mean like, you could probably die. I mean, I might as well go and see you last. Nah, just kick it out here. Yeah, smoke a blunt. You relax. I'll be good. Heart surgery right next to Longhorn Steakhouse. Okay. Yeah. Then another weird thing. Like I told you, when I was like 18, 19, I started hanging out more with my own friends and getting a girlfriend. In my senior year of high school, I bunked like 60 something days. I bunked like over 60 days. And this was mad embarrassing because this is around the time of like Slim Shady came out, whatever. And so this is like the week before high school is about to end. And I'm at graduation practice. And the vice principal comes in, she interrupts freaking graduation practice. She was like, Mr. Turbot, come with me. You're not graduating. And everyone was like, and then my boy was like, well, the real Slim Shady, please stand up. And I was one of like 4 people that were white in my high school. So that went over really well because I was white and I had to get up. And it was also laughing because, hey, look, loser, you're not graduating. So then I'm like, honestly, I didn't care at the time. I could care less about that. I was like, oh, cool, 1 more year, whatever. 6 more years, who cares? I don't know. What am I going to go work in a cubicle and then have 2.5 kids and marry some one stale chick and live the rest of my life, work slave for some corporation? Doesn't sound fun. I'll take 1 more year of high school. Anyways, go back into high school the next morning, and I get called down to the principal's office. The principal there knew me because she was also the principal at my middle school, and she was principal there and my high school. I walk in to the office after I was pulled out of graduation practice, said I wasn't graduating. She won't look at me. She's got this thing. She's like, hey, Will, if you do this report and you get a good enough grade before Monday, you can graduate. She wouldn't even look me in the eye. I guess Mike ordered some favor. And I ended up graduating. Just gonna make sure I don't go any more things right here. But a couple things I wanna, and I got so much here. There's more stuff to delve into, but I don't want to overwhelm you, at least not up front. So anybody can help, even if you don't have information, you can share. Share this video, join all the wrestling groups on Facebook and Twitter and all that shit, and share this video. Because if it's just me doing it, that's great. But if you have 1,000 people doing it, he'll never host again. Most importantly, guys, if you want to have a kid's birthday party, XWA Event Center is open. Mama Phoenix will come down and cook you something really great. We'll have, we'll customize it for you. We'll do a little custom. Just kidding, guys. If you know anything, in all seriousness, reach out to me. FakeMikeRealNews@gmail.com. FakeMikeRealNews on Instagram. Reach out to me. I want to get to the truth. I don't have a body, but I think one of you guys may know somebody or may know other things about other people. And if one person comes through, that may just be enough. Now, I want to end this with 3 things here. No, I want to end this with 2 things. 1, if you take anything from this, besides all the other evidence that I've given you, remember the phone conversation, remember the cams, remember the screenshots, remember the phone conversation where Mike, yeah, what's up? Oh, yeah, he didn't get fired for some TP. Yeah, something like that. But then he wasn't doing something on the cam where he's supposed to be doing. Hey, remember he ran a baseball thing and then he met another kid playing baseball, and then he worked at the Boys and Girls Club and nobody knows where he got fired. And then the cherries on top are I have 3 people who have came forward to me with extra evidence saying Mike raped me when I was a child. That's why I'm here today. Now, this is all alleged. I can't prove this, and even if I could, I mean, I might be able to, but even if I could, I'm not a judge, jury, and executioner. So I need your help, guys. Whenever I say definitely, this is a definitely allegedly. Now, this is all up. I'm not a judge, jury, and executioner, and I don't believe in nonviolence. If this is the first time watching a Fake Mike Real News video, what does Fake Mike Real News stand for? We are trying to create a more altruistic world through nonviolence and the Socratic method, and that's what we're doing with this. We're taking this through doing it the first time. This is some of the evidence I have. I have more evidence. I just want the truth. I want you guys to decide for yourself what you think. Leave it in the comments. Tell me what you think about this. And if you got some more information, please reach out to me. FakeMikeRealNews@gmail.com. On Instagram, FakeMikeRealNews. All the platforms. Message me. And if you can't, The bare minimum you can do is take this video, share it, join every independent and professional wrestling thing. Let's get this video out there. Share it with your YouTube friends, your influencer friends, so we can get this out there. Best case scenario, we get this information, we get somebody to come forward. Boom, he's behind bars. If any of this is even somewhat true, great. Worst case and best case scenario, none of this is true. And we all go on with our lives. But it's worth taking a look at, because potentially if any of this is true, then we have to be guarding our children. So thank you guys very much for joining. I want to say finally thank you for everyone that's going to share this video. Really appreciate you guys. Doesn't take much to be an activist, just some thumbs. Join these Facebook groups. Help me spam this video in here. And let's, please, if you have any other information, come send it to me. Let's work on this and let's end this story once and for all. And I will see you guys. Oh, hit the bell right now, because very shortly you're going to see me live protesting the XWA. So that should be fun. Let's see if the wrestlers come beat me up.